back to the Spirit Lounge. I hope you guys are doing really well. So back again to continue our journey through the Nag Hammadi text, and let's get the PowerPoint on the screen now. Okay, so you should be able to hear me. I'm still working on my laptop microphone at the moment, so it should be still pretty good though. Okay, so where are we? We are... this is not correct. So let's just correct this while we're live. A live correction. Yeah, these things do happen. That's where we are. There you go. So, what we're seeing today, you should be seeing that back again, is the three forms of first thought. It's quite a long chapter. There's about 16 slides in here, so it may take up an hour. I'm trying to get it below that if I can. Okay, so what this is another Sethian treatise. It's a tripartite aretalogy, which basically means it's a three-part miraculous deed, which concentrates on Protennoia-Barbelo, as we know, Barbelo being the virginal eon that was manifest to then give manifestation to everything else through itself. And it talks about powers, deeds, attributes of the Pretennoia-Barbelo. It's Pretennoia is another abbreviation for Barbelo is the common name that we're used to seeing in the text, which is the first thought of the Sethian supreme deity. So this is the first supreme deity, which is attached and merged with the invisible spirit. So if you remember if there's such a thing, a hierarchy, which there isn't, it's all one. There's the unknowable spirit, there's the triple powered one, there's the invisible spirit, then there's the Pretennoia-Barbelo, and then there's the triple powered male, which is the Christ force. So and the invisible spirit and the Pretennoia-Barbelo kind of merge in some texts and separated in other texts within the Nag Hammadi scriptures as a whole. And this goes into that whole logos of Barbelo for the most part. Okay, so we'll just continue on into here and see where we go. So Pretennoia's identity as the omnipresent divine first thoughts. This is talking about just stretching my camera. This is talking about the first thought being remember the all, which is basically the unknowable one, which is not a state that we can ever ascend to, because it's the unknowable one is the all. It creates as we all do. Remember, as above, so below. Math is the same across many different aspects. But across this manifestation is thought. So this is indicating again that the divine manifests things into form by an intention that then sparks a thought, or a thought sparks an intention. It's like a chicken and the egg. Without an intention, you wouldn't have a thought to then manifest that thing into being. So the thought was to manifest the Pretennoia-Barbelo into form. Therefore she became the first thought, i.e. the first thing that was manifest from the divine all. I am first thought, the thought that is light, that is in light. Remember, light is knowing, knowledge, light is information, and all knowing is the unknowable one, the all, or the triple powered one. I am movement that is in the all, she in whom the all takes its stand. This means that she became the expression of the all, and that which all things manifested through. The firstborn among those who came to be, she exists, she came to be, she which exists before the all. She is called by three names. Though she dwells alone, since she is complete. So the three names are remember, the three above. The three names are the invisible spirit, the triple powered one, and the unknowable one. So these are the three names. They're also below they could also be the levels below of ascent, the layers of ascent. There being autogenes, protophanes, and also calyptos. So there's three there too. But I think it's the level, the layers, the abstractions of the one above. There are three abstractions there. I am invisible within the thought of the invisible one, revealed in the immeasurable. I am incomprehensible, I move in every creature. So she's basically talking about what this is referring to. I'll just continue reading, but what this is referring to is, it indicates that Protennoia-Barbelo is actually the divine force that's within us all. And Pretennoia-Barbelo being an expression of the divine itself, then the spirit is the divine all. I don't work with abstractions like this. For us, we are the all within us, but what this is the Nag Hammadi is full of abstractions and archetypes. But this is indicating that the first thought is actually the spirit itself that's within us. So she dwells within us as a representation or aspect of the all anyway, because she is the all, we are the all, it's all one. So there's really no abstraction or archetypes really, but it's really I feel that they're created from within myself. Most of them are created for those at the time and others who study to help them understand the great unknowable. You have to break when something's so huge and vast, unknowable, the all is so vast and so unknown, it cannot be known, it can't be measured. We have to, as material beings, even energetic, in energy bodies even, we would have to abstract the enormity, the immensity of the infinite, eternal, unceasing all into abstractions, into archetypes, into layers, into tiers, so we can break it down and help us consciously understand it. To help us understand, to be able to contemplate it in thought, requires us to be able to break it down so we can understand it. That's why these archetypes and abstractions exist, not because they actually exist. Some may do, but to help us understand. So this all throughout all faiths, and we'll go through the Vedic Upanishads after this, and I'll show you through that how this expresses in those texts as well, which are far, far older than the Nag Hammadi. I am the life of my epinoia, which is thought and purpose. Within every power, eternal movement, within the rulers and angels and demons. So she exists in all things, be that of grace or that has left grace. Every soul in Tartaros. So what Tartaros is, remember, Tartaros is the realm in the great abyss below. In every material soul, dwelling those who came to be, probed them all. She was in there, she probed them all. Upright, what upright means of spiritual force. So when something's upright in these texts, it means spiritual force. You stand upright. But to stand upright means to stand tall, with spine straight, with shoulders back, chest out in a physical form. But it means you stand firm and upright within your spiritual, your divine all force expressing out as a shaft driven into hard rock. Who sleep I awaken, invisible one with the all, a counsel. I know everything that exists. I reveal myself through myself, movement of the all. I am all in every one. Okay. Pretennoia self-manifestation as the masculine voice of the first thought. Excuse me, just getting a drink there. Okay, so masculine voice of the first thought isn't female and male. We'll discuss this after we go through this, but it has a lot of masculine reference in here. It's not talking about the male being stronger than the female or anything like that. It's just referring to it in the way it's being received at the time. I am a softly resounding voice in the silence. I surround everyone. Hidden voice that is in me. So this is talking about the hidden voice of the light within all that exists. Immeasurable thought, silence. I descended to the underworld. I shone, light shone down. I made waters surge. Hidden in radiant waters. Gradually made all radiant. With the voice comes knowledge. I inhabit the unknowable. I am perception and knowledge. By means of thought, real voice, resonate, seed is in them. So it's talking about the seed, the spirit is in them. Thought of the Father, knowledge of everlasting things being joined. Revealed myself, all who recognize me, hidden thought. So this is basically talking about the spirit, the divine essence or the breath of the all is the divine spirit. The Protennoia-Barbelo, or what we call is the divine, the breath of all, emanated down. She came down in what was energetic form with masculine energy, I would suggest. But she's talking about she came down into the Tartaros, the realm of Tartaros, the abyss, and she shook the abyss. Because of light came down into darkness, and through knowledge is how she is perceived, through thought, contemplation upon what is being emerging through us. The seed in them is the spirit, and she reveals to those who recognize her. In other words, the dark ones did not recognize her in passages coming up because they were not in frequency. They were not in frequency or resonance of the divine light, which is a high frequency. They live in low frequency, so when something of higher frequency passes, they don't understand what it is, they don't recognize it, they don't see it. And this happens in life. Look around, there are so many lost souls among us who simply don't see or recognize any spirit within them at all. And this is could be a description for that too. Okay, response of the auditors. The voice is immeasurable. A mystery it is, and a noble deriving from the one. Invisible to all who are visible invisible to all who are visible in the all. It is in light. We too have ourselves left the visible world, saved by hidden wisdom. What is hidden within us confers the product of its fruit upon the water of life. So the voice is, so this the response of the auditors. This is, I think the auditors are those within the abyss realm. The voice is immeasurable, which is the spirit and the word of the logos, of the divine. The mystery, a mystery it is, and a noble deriving from the one. So this is the word, the logos itself, and also talking about the Protennoia-Barbelo in this respect. Revelation narrative on the perfect Son, the Logos Christ, the perfect Son, the Word. The Son is perfect. He is the Word through voice. Within him the name. So this also suggests that the Pretennoia or Barbelo or source, well, we know source is the divine, but within the name here refers to Pretennoia, I believe, Barbelo, manifested, or the Christ energy passed through Pretennoia-Barbelo to enter the realm of the physical or matter and into the avatar that was Jesus. And through the word or the voice, he spread the word of the divine through the voice, received everlasting things. Unknown became known, so it passed on those revealing to us things that we had lost, that we had deemed to be unknown, were actually known within. Secrets he revealed. The first thought he preached, so he preached the word of the divine, which is the first thought. Also Pretennoia-Barbelo, which is the first thought. Remember, there's no difference there really. It's just it's emanating down and cascading through voice, through preaching the word of the Logos, which is the word of the divine. to us to remind ourselves what we have lost and need to return to. Revealed to those in darkness, he showed himself in the abyss, and hidden treasuries, mysteries, taught unrepeatable doctrines, and those who received became children of light. Excursus on the equivalence of the triad's father, mother, child, and voice, speech, word. Very long headings for these little passages here, but the text kind of explains it. Voice that came from my thought. So this is still talking about Pretennoia here and the Barbelo. The father, mother, child. So the father being the all, the mother being Protennoia-Barbelo, and the child being the triple male child, being the Christ energy. Three abiding entities, father, mother, child, exist as perceptible speech, word endowed with every glory. Three masculine aspects, which is the triple powered one. So these are the everything's called, even the spirit is actually referred to as feminine. The Barbelo energy is feminine. Some aspects are determined as masculine. It doesn't really matter which it is. It's just they just associate something with a masculine or a feminine energy depending on how it's felt to that's receiving these texts and this knowledge and knowing. So there's a lot of that. Triple powered one, which is, remember the level just between the invisible spirit stroke, the Barbelo energy, and the unknowable one. Three names, three quadrangles, anointed one the Christ. I anointed him with goodness of the invisible spirit. The three alone in eternal glory, in living water, made light of those exalted ones, stood in his own light, the eye of light. So this is talking about the Christ light, Christ energy in other words. Okay, Pretennoia identity as the Divine Mother Barbelo. This is I myself, first thought, Barbelo, not with a W, who is one who is hidden. Through me all took shape. I am the mother, light that she appointed as virgin, called Merothea, incomprehensible womb and unrestrainable. So this is effectively saying what we already know, that she was the first thought. She became the virgin manifestation of everything that exists. This includes all the eons. This includes the passing through of the Christ energy, of the Buddhic frequencies, of the Krishna consciousness. All things passed through and manifested through her, including that which we call the forces that originated and were then transformed through just divine law and universal law into matter and form. Okay, the perfect Son establishes the eons. The perfect Son revealed himself to his eons and gave them thrones, stood in glory, blessed the perfect Son, the Christ, the only God. So the Son, this is talking about the Christ energy again. He's talking about the Son, but remember, all things are emanations of the All. There isn't any real Son of the All, because the Son is the All. Can't have a single child. We all are sons and daughters of the divine, if we want to see ourselves as female and male material beings. The ranking of the four luminaries as four eons. So then it does go into a couple of passages where it just lists all of the eons yet again. So we'll just go through some of these. I wrote them out because I'm planning to map some of this stuff out as much as I'm able to understand it, because there are so many of them. The first eon he established over the first. So this is the first level, I would say, of ascent. This is Amedon, Nusanios, Amozo, and established over the second eon, Phianios, Aeneos, Oriel, and over the third eon, Melophaneus, Lois, and Devethai. Over the fourth, the goes of mother eons of Musenios, Amethes, Eleleth. Eons were conceived by the God, exalted in their thought. Such eon gave myriads of glories, which is basically they were representations of what we call salvation, redemption, revelation. So all of these eons mean something. So one may mean knowledge, another one may mean strength, and so on and so forth. Well, let's try to list those out when we finish the text. But they all represent something. They are archetypes that represent something, and the totality of that something, those somethings, are aspects of the ascent, if you like, of salvation, revelation, and redemption, and so forth. Untraceable lights. The world creator originates from Eleleth's Pretennoia Sophia. So remember, there were these eons, and Sophia was also another eon, which is part of the eon Eleleth, which is another expression. And they were the part of the tiers that the Barbelo created. Then came a word, luminary Eleleth, so luminary, and then luminaries are above the eons, if you like. Sophia was an eon, and the luminary was something above the eons. Luminary Eleleth and said, I am king, who is king of chaos, king of the underworld. So what she's talking about here is, in this passage it suggests Eleleth was the creator or partner with Sophia, who created Yaldabaoth, the demiurge, who then was supposed to manifest the universe itself. And that moment his light appeared, so this is when the Yaldabaoth demiurge energy appeared, endowed with Pretennoia, which are powers. Powers did not entreat him. Appeared a great demon, rules the lowest part of the underworld. Neither form nor perception, so this being didn't have form. Now, this doesn't mean physical form. This is talking about the form of a divine form within it, the breath of the all, or the breath of Barbelo, or the Pretennoia within it. Or perception, so didn't understand anything other than, didn't perceive any energies or frequencies other than the abyss that it found itself in, and then ultimately manifested the universe within. Splendor of those conceived in darkness, so of course this is talking about the demiurge creating matter, form, beings, life in this realm. And these other names for him were Sakla, Samael, and Yaldabaoth. He had power snatched from the innocent one. So what this means, innocent one, is Sophia. Sophia is the one that ultimately manifested through error, and the Yaldabaoth then snatched power from Sophia to become, to have lordship over the abyss. He overpowered her. She is the Pretennoia of light who came down. So Pretennoia means I think the power that came down. Sophia was the one that dropped and created the demiurge and the seven archontic realms, or the seven heavens. Remember the seven archons, then demiurge, which is the eighth, and the ninth is the Sophia. Pretennoia Sophia restoration. Pretennoia of the luminary Eleleth realized that Yaldabaoth has begged him for another order, even though he was lower than she. So basically Yaldabaoth is asking Eleleth, the luminary, to give him, whatever we're going to call Yaldabaoth, a realm, so that it could be a being in that realm, a dwelling place. He says, give me another order. So he saw the divine order. He was obviously not a member of that divine order, because he was manifesting in a depth of abyss of error. So he had a dwelling place, and I may not dwell in disorder. So this means that he needed somewhere to dwell. There was just him, and there was nothing really there. So the whole house of glory agreed with her request. Higher order yielded to her. So in other words, she's suggesting that the upper luminaries agreed to allow Yaldabaoth the realm of the abyss for him to become the god over. Yaldabaoth makes a human being in Pretennoia's likeness. So we heard this story before. And the great demon began to produce eons in the likeness of the real eons, except that he produced them out of his power. This is talking about the archons. So he saw eons up above. Remember, he looked up above and he saw an image in the waters of light, and then started to create form in the image of that light. But these are I believe this is not only just a human form or any other form, but also the archons that he created, which we called the demons, but these are these are mirrors of the eons. Pretennoia intervenes. Then I too revealed my voice secretly and said, "Stop, you who tread on matters. I am coming down to the world of mortals." When innocent Sophia was conquered, so remember she's Barbelo is the virginal, Protennoia-Barbelo is a virginal force. It's suggesting that she looked down into the depth that Sophia had created in error, and then power was grabbed from her and kept by the demiurge to have force within that realm. And so she decided that she was going to come down into the world, not in form, but as in spirit. So I might thwart their plot by the one who came from her. So this is not only the Christ energy that came through the Barbelo archetype into the realm of matter, but also it's suggesting that all our divine breath that within us all, that we're all trying to connect to. While you may be watching this video, while you're on your own ascending path and journey, which is a private and personal one, it's that breath as well. All were disturbed, the abyss trembled. The chief creator of ignorance reigned over chaos, produced a human being in my likeness. So this is talking about the Adam's energy. He did not know that this creature would be a death sentence for him. Did not recognize the power of the creature. So I put a yes here. So I want to explain something. There are many who so there are some out there who feel that evil has overtaken life, and some believe that the metaphorical devil or the elder Baal or the demiurge, whatever those out there feel exists, has power, has won. Yes, we live in a realm of chaos, absolutely. So these texts are actually true in a lot of respects. They're describing the world and the realm that we live in. So it's not. I know there's archetypes and metaphors and abstractions here, but they're just to describe what exists. We are living in a realm of chaos, seemingly of total chaos, because all we see around us that's pushed towards us through dark, those who decided to follow, to become dark and to oppress, and to lord over humans in all form, wish us to be kept in fear and to kept in chaos, so we no longer receive and understand our spirit. But they've never won. There's no success in this endeavor of suppression of any spirit, any awareness of our spirit within any form, be that humans or otherwise. Because he didn't know this creature would be the death sentence for him, yes. That, let's translate that to today, to the era we live in right now. There are 7.x billion of us. Darkness doesn't hold any power whatsoever. It never has and never will. Because the divine never lost because there was nothing to lose. The moment the all was created and the divine spirit existed in the breath within all things that exist, darkness never had a foothold ever, because it will ultimately always fail, because the light exists here. It's just that the divine hasn't lost. It's just that we've lost connection with it, the divine itself. So there is no war, because there's no war to lose. There are no battles for the divine to fight, because it doesn't do that anyway, because there's no battle for it to fight. That battle, or that war, or that challenge is our own. As I've mentioned before, all this realm exists within the divine all. It is part of light, even though it seems dark. But it's only because we've lost connection to that light within us. So that the loss or the defeat is only our own defeat. Do we allow ourselves to go into materialism, the material matter expression of life, and only attach to that and feel that's the only thing that exists? Or are we going to start following that journey into our divine light? Because the light waits for us to embrace it. The light's always there. The breath that's talking about Protennoia-Barbelo came down into us. This is just divine light. The fact that a light exists in this universe, it means that the divine has already always won. There is no... The error is just that we've allowed those who have left the divine behind and follow other practices and false gods and darker energies and frequencies have decided we've given them too much power, and there are only few. And it seems that they have conquered, but there is no conquering. We just need to return to our light, and the divine already wins. At the end, what will happen, as I mentioned before, we will all ascend through and past this. In some point in the eternal infiniteness of life and time, everybody will. And those stubborn who wish to cling on to the darker practices because they wish to rule and over others will have nothing more to rule over, because there will be nothing left here, no purpose for this in the end. And there'll be so much light and love that exists, the darkness will just be a dim flame. Whereas today, the spiritual light within us is just a dim, flickering light, pilot light, because we don't give it, we don't reconnect to it to make it an inferno. But the opposite will occur, I promise you this, that the light that seems to shout on the dark will be a dim flame, almost extinguished, as we connect to our light within. So, the divine never loses, because there's nothing to lose. Everything's in the divine, and the fight that life, we all have a spark of light within us. The battle's already won. Or if there was a war, it was already won. If there was a universal battle, it's already won. It just requires us to embrace it. That is all. Okay, Pretennoia's self-manifestation to her members. But now I have descended and reached chaos with my own you who were there. So she's reached chaos and attached to those who recognize that they have a divine spark in them. I am hidden from them, giving them shape. This means giving them the shape of the spirit coming out within them and shaping them as a spiritual being. From the first day, I grant mighty power. Reveal myself to those who have heard my mysteries, and they become children of light. Okay, the first mystery, nullification of the lower power. I am their father. Tell you a mystery of the unspeakable by mouth. A bond I loosened from you. Chains of the demons of the underworld I broke. High walls of darkness I overthrew, and the gates of those pitless ones I broke. So this is talking about the Father. This is talking about the Pretennoia yet again. Remember, she was the expression of the virginal manifestation of everything. So she's a father, a mother, in this case, in this passage at least. And she broke all of the chains and the power of the underworld. Absolutely. As soon as the spark of light was in any form at all, the spark of the divine spirit within, everything immediately had already lost, because that light was present, and in the depths of the abyss that light was not supposed to be present. and it's hidden from those of darkness because they simply don't recognize this light. They don't see it because their frequency is so suppressed and repressed. They don't recognize or resonate of divine light because they simply don't see it or feel it. And this is why it's saying that they did not recognize Adam when the spirit of Eve entered him. It's because it was a divine light frequency, and the archons didn't understand that frequency or resonate with it, so they were blind to what it was. Okay, smash their bars. Evil force and the one who beats, the tyrant adversary to those who are mine, children of light. Nullify them all. Be liberated from all bonds. Return to the place. This means the divine all itself, the place where we emanate. The beginning. Return to the place which is the beginning. I am the first one who descended. So it's also her coming down, but in spiritual force, but also as our divine spirit within us. My portion that remains, which is the divine spirit. Spirit in the soul. So I don't look at souls and spirit being different. If we do want to do that, we can look at the soul as being the auric expression, the energy expression of us as a bodily frequency, as a frequency within all our chakras. We know our energy points, we have energy bodies, and we emanate out. This could be the soul, the consciousness of ourselves. The spirit ultimately is the breath of the all. That is all that really, for me, that I concentrate on. Everything else is great to help intellect and intellectual discourse on the body, the energy bodies within, the chakra systems and so forth, which all are valid, but we don't need to be concentrating on them too overly, other than to understand that those abstractions can help us understand the frequencies of what we are, but ultimately it's the divine spirit, and only that we need to concern ourselves with. Water of life, immersion of the spirit of the mysteries I spoke. I went below their language. So this was talking about, what does this mean? It's not verbal language. So it could talk about the word. It's talking about the word. It's talking about the word. It's talking about the frequency and energy. The demiurge, the archons, those of lower frequency simply do not see that frequency, and they also do not understand or cannot resonate with hidden knowledge. And the word is also energetic. Remember, it's the embracing of the spirit releases the logos or the word to us. Those of darkness do not recognize that. So this is called a different language. It's something they just don't understand. They didn't comprehend. I spoke the hidden mystery. Eternal oblivion were nullified. I reached them and broke the first strand. So this is basically saying that the divine spirit, which was unraveled and unleashed and embraced within some of those that were in the abyss, those chains of the material blindness, the ignorance, the loss, the sleep was nullified, and the bonds that were tied them there started to break as they started their journey towards ascending into a more spiritual being. Pretennoia self-manifestation as feminine speech of the first thought. I am the voice that appeared through my thought, who is in union, called the thought of the invisible one, unchanging speech. I am alone the undefiled, mother of the voice. In me is knowledge. I speak in every creature and in every one. Those who have known me, the children of light. It's basically talking about that I am the voice that appeared through my thought. So this is the word that appeared through her thought, or the Christ energy, or her Pretennoia's descent into the abyss, and talking about the union with the invisible one. Unchanging speech is basically means that the word, the logos, the word, is the unchanging speech. The shift of the ages. Now I have come the second time in likeness of a female. I shall tell them of the coming end of this age, a beginning of an age to come. Our, which is the elevated community, which is those that are on the journey of ascent, our appearance will be changed, will be purified in those eons, is settled among those who are worthy. The second mystery, the impending overthrow of the cosmic powers being the demiurge, the archons, and everything in that abyss, the powers as they call it. I tell you the mystery of this age. Birth beckons birth. So what that means is birth means that once we embrace the spirit, we are called reborn. We're reborn, we're no longer dead. We are reborn. And beckons birth means we're reborn into our spirit again, which then moves us through the ascent, and then we are birthed back into the divine realm again. When the great authorities knew that the time of fulfillment had appeared, so this was talking about when the archons and the demiurge realized that the breath of the divine all was in everything, they realized that they had already lost, that this power that they did not understand, which was the time of fulfillment, had appeared. That's what that means. Birth pains came, time of destruction approached, elements trembled, chaos shook, great fire shone. Who apportioned the celestial houses? So this is talking about the planets of the zodiac. Is this talking about the planets within our solar system? It's talking about the 12 zodiac signs. So this is talking about fate movements of the planets and the suns. That's what it means. Portion the celestial houses. Thrones of powers were disturbed. Our entire world has been shaken. Circuit of our path of ascent has been destroyed, which takes us up to the chief creator of our birth is no longer steady for us. So this is talking about those within the abyss who attach themselves to the demiurge and the archontic powers, which takes up to the chief creator of our birth is no longer steady for us. Powers answered, we too are at a loss about it. Do not know what caused it. So the archons also didn't understand what this divine force was that entered the abyss, the spirit that entered in this frequency, this female, which was the Eve energy is the spirit that entered the Adam, if you like, which is all metaphor. Do not know what caused it. Go to the chief creator and ask him. So they're going to the demiurge here at this point to ask him what happened. Didn't we hear you say, I am God? So they're now approaching the demiurge and saying, well, you said you were God. You said there was no other but me. Now look, we have heard a voice of the invisible speech of the eon Protennoia-Barbelo that we do not know. So they do not recognize this frequency. They do not recognize the word or the logos or this energy of divine light that's entered into this abyss. We have not recognized to whom we belong. It came and terrified us. Let us take flight. So now they're questioning whether they thought they belonged to this demiurge energy, but now it seems that they're indicating that they don't. They're questioning this. They're saying, well, what's this divine light which even you, demiurge, who proclaim to be a god, do not understand and are fearful of? So, as I said, these celestial houses, what they're talking about here is they're suggesting the orbits of the planets and the 12 zodiac signs which were created and people thought that was dictating fate. And remember, planetary movements and astrology does affect us in some ways, and some people more than others. It really depends on how much you wish it to affect you, in all honesty, in my view. But yes, the position of planets, solar frequencies, the time of our birth is important. So have your astrology done when you're a child with your date and time is a really crucial, is a really wonderful thing. I wish I had my time, but I don't have that. Otherwise, I'd get an astrological chart done myself. But it's talking about the planets, which those times were the celestial heavens. Those were the heavens. Those were the celestial bodies. Those were the powers. I would suggest that maybe those were also the archons and the demiurge realm. So these planets represented the archons or the abyss, or those powers, as well as the life at the time looked up into the heavens, and obviously we're seeing cosmic houses above them. So there could be a suggestion that the archons of the planets, so Venus is love, is an archon. There's 7 planets, if you like. We take Earth out of the picture there. 7 planets: Venus, Mars, which is war, Jupiter, which is expansion and plenty, Saturn, which is determination, Uranus, which is a rebel or innovation, Neptune, which is water, another archon, which is they're the 7 planets, and then the 8th is Pluto, which is the definition for the god of the underworld. Now, that Pluto is the god of the underworld, which is Demiurge. The Demiurge is the god of the underworld. And they're the 7 archons in the Demiurge. And then Sophia we could apportion to the sun, if you like. So you can also relate a lot of this to astrology, to the movement of the planets as well. So remember, these are archetypes, these are abstractions, these are metaphors for things. They represented things of the time, which I would suggest would be cosmic movements of the heavens above. Our age is fulfilled. So this is continuing on from this, where those of the dark practices and the archons as well, they're suggesting that. Okay, let's go down. Our age is fulfilled. Weeping of our destruction is near. From which the tree from which we grew has fruit of ignorance. Death in its leaves. So now they're talking about the tree. The tree of knowledge, which Adam and Eve weren't supposed to eat from, which they did. They're saying that it also has leaves which are of ignorance. Ignorant chaos became our dwelling place. Even the chief creator did not know this speech, so did not know the word, did not understand what entered into the realm. So now, children of light, listen to me. You have become worthy of the mystery hidden. You might receive it. The end of this age, end of the evil life is near. So Pretennoia as androgynous mother and father. I am androgynous, which just basically means you need a male or female. Well, everything in light, everything that is not in body, our bodies are male or female in biological gender. But the divine doesn't have this abstraction and this split. This is just a physical thing. In matter, in form, our divine being, our spirit itself, which is part of the all, and all of these eons and the Protennoia-Barbelo and the divine all, is just existence. It's just pure and utter presence and existence. It just is. It's just an is that exists. It neither is male, neither female. It doesn't have these abstractions. It is just everything encompassed within light. And we are aspects of that light, which is called a fractal of it, which is called our divine spark, which exists in everything. Everything has it. Everything has the divine breath in it, all the way down to a subatomic particle or a grain of sand. Okay, so where was I? Okay, mother and father. I am androgynous. I am mother, father. I mate with myself. Since it's myself that I love. This is not talking about in a vain way. Through me alone the all stands firm. So this is talking about the Pretennoia-Barbelo, as the passage suggests. A womb that puts forth the all. Birth of light. I am the fulfillment of all. Merothea, the glory of the mother. So again, this is an Aeonic archetype, meaning this. Into the ears of those who know me, those who are ready to receive the word, those on the spiritual journey. Pretennoia promises the 5 seals. I invite you into the exalted, enter the light. By those who give glory, they will enthrone you. You will receive robes. Remember, the robes are enlightenment, knowledge, knowing. Robes are more knowing, bought and veiling of knowledge and infinite awareness into you. This is what robes are. They will baptize you through those levels of autogenes, protophanes, and calyptos, as you were in the beginning when you were light. Pretennoia transforms her members and reascends. I hid myself in everyone, myself in them. Their mind was seeking me, longed for me. I gave shape. Again, this is spiritual shape. When it had no form. I gave shape when it had no form. Transformed forms into other forms. So this is talking about transformed physical beings into divine light forms, which is basically energy forms, expressions of divine light from within themselves, which is saying that he became another type of form. When form will be given to everything, this has been ascension. Through me came the voice. I put breath. Breath is the spark, but also knowledge and wisdom. In my own, this means those who are seeking. Everyone is blessed and divine. But when they talk about those, my own, those who can hear me, those who are mine, this is anyone with a divine spirit, but those who are ready to hear have ears and will then receive, so that this is referred to as my own. I case the eternal holy, I think this means, I case the eternal Holy Spirit, spelling check missing there. I ascended and entered my light. On my branch, among children of holy light, I withdrew to their dwelling place. Okay, Pretennoia is self-manifestation as the logos of the first thought. I am the word in the ineffable voice. I am in undefiled light. We've read this kind of narrative previous passages. Narrative of the logos: voice, speech, word, light, and living water. A thought was expressed perceptibly through the great speech of the mother. A male offspring. So this is talking about the Christ energy as my foundation. Speech exists, beginning with the foundation of the all. This is the word and the logos. Light is hidden in silence. Remember, the all is silence and depth. It was the first to appear. Mother exists as silence. So this is the Pretennoia. It exists in silence also. The word, ineffable, incorruptible. The word is hidden light, bearing fruit of life. Living water from the invisible spring. The inimitable voice of the glory of the mother, which is Barbelo. An offspring of God, a male virgin, which is the invisible spirit. Foundation that supports every movement. So the offspring of God, a male virgin. So this is talking about the invisible spirit energy. That is the third in the level of from a noble one, triple powered one, invisible spirit, then the Barbelo, and then the triple powered male. As voice of thought. Okay, where does that say? Barbelo. Offspring of God, major. Foundation that supports every movement and every foundation. A breath of powers. I of the three abiding entities. So the three abiding entities are voice, speech, and word, which is what this entire passage is about, and the ones that are coming up. As voice from thought, word from speech, sent to illumine those in darkness. So the voice would be voice from thought. You receive the voices of the word. The voice is the divine all message, which comes across as the word or the divine logos. We receive that through thought or embrace of the divine spirit, a thought frequency. We contemplate it. We then pass on the word into ourselves through speech or into others, and then we illuminate ourselves into darkness, which is basically receive knowing as light. The third mystery, Pretennoia's three incognito descents. I shall reveal to you my mysteries, my brethren. You will know them all. I told all of them about my mysteries that exist in the incomprehensible eons. Pretennoia's first descent has a masculine voice. So it's very, very abstracted, this. It's overly excessive, a little bit like Zostrianos, but we'll continue. We're not far off now. I taught them the mysteries through the voice. In perfect intellect, I became the foundation, I empowered them all. Pretennoia's second descent has a masculine voice. The second time I came as the speech of my voice, I gave shape until their consummation, which means effectively the spirit within us, the knowledge and awareness that reveals itself as we enter further and further into our divine selves, into our practice, into our ascent, into our own personal journeys, life after life after life after life. You become and you get what you call a larger shape. You become more shaped by the spirit rather than this physical body. And your consummation really for me would be the first level of that autogenes ascent, where you release oneself from physical incarnation. Okay, Pretennoia's third descent as masculine voice. The third time I revealed myself in their tents as the Word. So the tents are human form. The tent is what you live in other words, it's the human body. Myself in the likeness of their shape. I wore everyone's garment, I hid in them. They did not know who empowers me. I am in all powers, every movement in all matter. I revealed myself to my brethren. None of the powers knew me, though I work in them. So this again is talking about the divine spark is even in the archons, even in the demiurge, but they don't recognize it. So she exists in all powers, in all shape, in all matter. She revealed that none of the powers knew me, though I work in them. So they don't recognize this divine spark or spirit or frequency of it, because the vibration is so low. Though it makes them blind. This is talking about the archons now and the demiurge. They thought they created everything. They are ignorant. They not know the root and place of their growth, so they don't understand where they manifest from. Truly, I am the light illuminating all. So everything manifested through Barbelo. So she's referring to them, to the root and the place of their growth, which is basically the Protennoia-Barbelo virginal manifestation or passage through her. I am the light illuminating all, because remember the eons, even Sophia and the luminaries all manifested through the Pretennoia-Barbelo as well, according to these texts. I came down to the world of mortals on account of the spirit left behind in what descended from innocent Sophia. So this is talking about she came down to the world of mortals as the spirit that was left behind in what descended. It's talking about the divine spark again, from the innocent Sophia being the one who created the demiurge, who then created the archons and so forth, and copies of angels and archangels and such like, because that's what he saw above. The right of the 5 seals. I delivered him to those who gave robes. So he's talking about all those. This is talking about the eons yet again, who have different activities during the ascension process. The rites of the 5 seals are things that you receive as part of the ascension process. And I'll go through, there are 2 definitions to 5 seals. One a Sethian definition, and one according to this passage. So it talks about these aeons here, Yamon and Alasso and Amine. They clothed him with robes of light and sent them to the baptizers, who were Michar and Messinus. They immersed him in the spring of the water of life and delivered him to those who do the enthroning, which is Bariel, Nuthan and Sebenai. To those who glorify, which is Ariom, Elien and Fariel. Those who rapture, which is Camaliel, and the rest of the passage was missing. They are servants of the holy luminaries. So these are the eons, who are servants of the holy luminaries. Into the place of the light of the fatherhood, he received 5 sails. Mother Pretennoia granted him to partake of knowledge. He became light in light. So effectively, this is just again more archetypes for to explain passage and the kind of energetic ascent, and this is talking about things that you would receive. So you'd receive robes, you'd be anointed, you'd be baptized at different levels, and so on and so forth. And all of it ultimately means you just acquire more knowledge. The ascent is always through the spirit, always through the internal self, through prayer, meditation, silence, to touch the silent depth, which is the all, through this light within. And as you do that, as I mentioned before, as you grow within your practice, that book of knowledge, which is infinite, the pages turn and knowledge is revealed to you. Sometimes you'll be revealed through knowing from within. Sometimes you feel it's coming from without into you, And knowledge is brought to you in the material realm for things you read, people you watch, people you listen to. Knowledge will come to you, and as you ascend, you make your vibration wider and wider and wider. As your frequency grows, then you become more open to receiving things, so things naturally come to you. Okay, so Pretennoia's incognito descent deceives the hostile rulers. Again, we've talked about this before, we'll read it again. I was in them. Rulers thought I was their Christ. In fact, I dwell in everyone. I am their beloved. I clothe myself as the son of the Creator, the demiurge. I was like him until the end of his regime, which is ignorance and chaos. Among the angels I revealed myself in their likeness, but among humanity as if I were a son of humanity. So she's saying she's in everything and everyone, even the Christ energy, she revealed herself within him. I hid in them all, revealed myself among my members who are mine. The 5 seals reserved for Protennoia members alone. I taught them about the ineffable ordinances, which is basically the community. The ordinances of the Father are inexpressible to every sovereignty. So these are the powers, the ordinances of the community, the aspects of the divine are inexpressible to every sovereignty. So this is saying that not everyone can understand the word of the Logos, the divine thought, the divine expression. Power, sovereignty and powers, expressible only to the children of light, so those who are awakening, higher than every glory. 5 seals are complete by virtue and intellect. One who possesses the 5 seals with these names, so these are the voice, speech and the word, so this is the 3 forms of thought, which is what this chapter is called, has stripped off garments of ignorance and put on shining light. Darkness will dissolve and ignorance will die. The creature, which is the universe, is talking about the creature that is scattered. So this is the universe of all possibility, which the demiurge created, is wide and vast. He's talking about the creature which is scattered will have a single appearance. In other words, the universe itself will no longer be governed by a archontic energy. It will have a different appearance, because as we all grow into our divine spirit, life after life after life, the frequency we emit through our billions, through all eternal life in this universe, changes the frequency of the universe, then gives it a divine shape, turns it from darkness to light. It has a more love frequency, and it becomes a place of love rather than a place of chaos. So then, therefore, the realm of the demiurge ceases to exist, which is what will occur. I could proclaim the ineffable seals to them, that I might abide by them, they also might abide in me. Okay, have I missed something there? Yes, I have, sorry. Has stripped off garments of ignorance and put on shining light. Darkness will dissolve and ignorance will die. The creature, the expansive universe that is scattered, will have a single appearance. Okay, next passage. The future salvation of Pretennoia's members. Until I revealed myself to all my brothers and sisters and gather all in my eternal kingdom, I could proclaim the ineffable 5 seals to them. I might abide by them, they also might abide by me. I put on Jesus, so this is talking about baptizing in the word or the Logos. That's what this is talking about. I bore him from the cursed wood. So what this means is that she took the Christ energy from the body of Jesus and passed it back through her own realm, the Barbelo archetype, back into the dwelling place, which is the realm of the Father. That's what this is saying. So I put on Jesus, this is the Christ energy. She took the Christ energy from that which was on the cross and established him in the dwelling places of his Father. So this is Barbelo prepared the dwelling. This is suggesting the Barbelo place, the dwelling place for all believers. And here she just brought Jesus' energy, the Christ energy, back into the divine realm, or the dwelling place, or his beginning, or its beginning. Those who guard their places did not recognize me. So those are the authorities, the powers, and so forth. Again, don't recognize light, frequency, love, energy, knowledge, and truth, or divine Logos, because the frequencies of the abyss. They only see and understand what is in the vibration of the abyss. Okay, and finally, the final restoration of Pretennoia's seed. For my seed and I cannot be restrained. My seed is mine. I shall place it in holy light, within incomprehensible silence. Amen. Seed being the divine breath within us. That is the seed. So what are the 5 seals? So that's the end of the chapter. The 5 seals here. I quickly wanted to talk to you about what those 5 seals could be. Now you can adapt these, but in this particular aspect, I think the 5 seals are these below, but we'll talk about these. So the 5 seals in Sethian are the baptismal rites of scent. So you go through different ascending seals towards what we could call the autogenes layer of ascent. So one of them is the baptism, which is the starting of the revealing of the Christ consciousness, the knowledge of the divine revealing itself unto you. Then the anointing place, the Eucharist, the redemption, and then the bridal chamber is the ultimate one where you actually are integrated into the spiritual journey or the path itself. And the other 5 seals are the realms, the different realms. So this is the ennobled one, which is number 1, the triple powered one, which is number 2, the invisible spirit, which is number 3, number 4, number 3, and Protennoia-Barbelo being number 4, which is the virginal spirit, and the triple male Christ energy being number 5. So this could also be the 5 seals. Now, if I had to put the triple male being foreknowledge, incorruptible life, eternal, and truth, which is also the baptism, the anointing, Eucharist, and the redemption, the bridal chamber elements. All these are part of the triple male Christ energy. That could also be associated with the autogenes level of ascent. So when you read the triple male Christ state of ascent, a level of ascent, the autogenes is a state of ascent. This means that you're releasing yourself from a cycle of rebirth. You've unleashed the foreknowledge, incorruptibility. You release yourself into life eternal, which is you move from material body into energy body form, and you have revealed to your truth. You go through the baptism and anointing, the redemption, the bridal chamber phases of the baptismal rites, and that's what takes you to the triple male child, the autogenes. And then from then on, you pass on to, in energy form, you continue your ascent towards full grace, or the frequency of grace, and you go through Pretennoia-Barbelo, could be regarded as the protophanes level. It's a merging of the invisible spirit and the Barbelo energy, which is what we call the protophanes, which again is the expression of the virgin emanation, where all the eons, it possesses existence, vitality and mentality. And then going to the triple powered one, which is only the furthest ascent, which in these passages saying we can achieve, which I kind of agree, which is the triple powered one. This is the arbitrary layer between the invisible spirit and the true unknowable divine all. We can never know the divine all. It's totally unknowable, even in any kind of expression of life, be that physical body or an energy body within the realm, within this universe. We reach triple powered one because to know the unknowable is to be the unknowable. We all aspects and fractals of the unknowable, but to truly comprehend it, even when we're not in body and our spirit passes on, the unknowable one is truly just not knowable. And so the Calyptos energy takes us about here, I would suggest. Okay, so that's quite a long passage there. Again, practice second coming and become it yourselves, and become what you wish to become, not just a trivial pursuit or a practice that you engage in here and there when you need something or you need divine help for something. That's really what persistence is. Faith, and patience is silence, and that's what we need to practice. And again, there's the book that I wrote. There is available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. And then if you have any suggestions for me, please let me know on the spiritlounge333@gmail.com or Facebook Messenger. And thanks to everyone who sent me comments on some of these videos. And thank you for watching. Put my webcam back on there. I truly do appreciate it. It's a real blessing to me when I receive comments from people who watch videos, and if this helps them, it's heartwarming to me and tearful at the same time. I really do appreciate it. So I want to say thank you to everyone who takes time watching these quite lengthy videos, and just engages in my channel altogether. And please pass it on to anyone. A word of mouth is how I wish to spread this. Please share it with those who may be interested, if you feel it resonates with you to do so. So again, thank you very much, and God bless you all, and take care. Thank you.